Hey everybody, hope you all are doing alright. So, this is a message for Captain Bread, and I'm gonna try to stay as calm as I can, but he started commenting on my channel years ago, and he started out being relatively like positive, and it was pretty cool actually. Like I appreciated a lot of what he had to share. And somewhere along the line, shit got blurry, and I don't know why or exactly what I said, but I think it has to do with a particular person. But somehow, some way, the comments he started sharing, I started having issues. Like I really wasn't comprehending or understanding like where he was coming from. And in fact, there's a few instances where I literally had to be like, where are you coming from, bro? We're just on different wavelengths, and so I haven't heard from him in a while because, like, when I did that whole Safeway thing or Fred Meyer thing where my dad was attempting to give me a job, and that was a dark moment in my life. That's I'm feeling better now, but I was in a very dark place at that moment, at that time when I was making those videos, and I shared all that with y'all. So if you've been watching my channel, then you would have known that. And that didn't go well. As I said, I went there, and during around halfway time, I felt like I was getting those bad fucking thoughts again. I just felt like in my heart this was not where I was supposed to be. So I left, and I made a video about leaving and all that, and it was a bad day, man. Like my family was not happy with me, and my dad had set that whole thing up, so he was not in a good mood. And I was in an emotionally bad spot, and I was honestly, like, genuinely, like, I wanted that to work out. I thought that situation would work out. So when it didn't work out, like, I was like, that was honestly what happened. Like, I genuinely, truly felt to the truth of my being that it really didn't work out. And like, I'm sitting here trying to convey that to my parents, who are looking at me just like I'm a piece of shit. Like, I couldn't even fucking get through an interview just to work at some simple job that my dad fucking set up for me. So I had to deal with all that. It was a funky moment, dude. And I shared that experience online, and then Captain Bread comes and leaves me comments saying this, dude. He said, essentially, I don't have it word for word, but it was along the lines of, like, oh, what are your dad's West Point buddies gonna, like, you're gonna have to watch out for your dad's West Point buddies. Or it was something like, he was trying to make me be afraid of my dad's West Point friends. And I remember looking at it like, I was baffled. I was like, what? I mean, no offense, but I was literally like, what type of a comment is this? Like, what are you trying to do here? Like, it just, like, the feeling felt like he was trying to hurt me. Like, I felt like, and I wasn't in the best state, but like, we're reading that, like, I read it a few times, and I thought about it, and I was like, what is this dude trying to tell me here? Like, why would you send somebody like that? Why would, I can't imagine, like, the only thing I can imagine of is, like, he was trying to hurt me. And it's like, I think this is me putting it together. I think it's because he might have feelings for a particular person, but like, they've all been talking shit because I'm not working. So then they see me about to try to go and get a job, but it doesn't fucking work out. I come back, I share how it doesn't work out, and they know my dad was trying to set it up. And so then this dude comes and leaves a comment about how, oh, now it's like, upon all the extra shit that I'm already dealing with, this dude, instead of trying to help me out in a good situation, he decides to use words that I don't know how those types of words would help me feel better. Like, how is you telling me I should be afraid of my dad's military friends? How is that going to help my day? How is that going to help anything? Like, it was just the weirdest comment to fucking come up with. But, and I'm okay with weird, but when I can feel like, when I can see there's intention to cause harm, or like your words, like the words you chose, like, if you really look at them, I cannot figure out any goodness that comes from those words. Like, what goodness comes from that, dude? And so, he's decided to start commenting again. He left me a couple of comments yesterday, and the first couple were alright, so I gave him a heart. And then he asked me one, he asked me one saying, what would you say to George Washington, or something like that. And I was like, okay, man, well, because I've asked him questions in the past, and he's also chosen to ignore. It's another thing too, man. Like, when you choose to ignore somebody when they ask you a question, that's not a good thing to do. Like, that's not, like, if we're trying to fucking click and, like, whatever, like, ignoring people is not a good way of communication. Like, if you don't want to answer, or you're too busy, you don't feel like answering, you should just let people know that. But just leaving them fucking completely in the wind, like, just ignoring them, that's rude. And so I asked him a question regarding the 13th son to starving children, and he completely ignored my ass a while ago. But, I was like, okay, whatever, I just completely let that go. And then the next time I heard from him, I think was when he sent the comments about the West Point shit that I'm talking about right now. So, yeah, so I remember that when I saw that he asked me about the George Washington thing, and he's asking me a question, and I'm like, I don't know, this is really a weird question for you to be asking me. Like, I don't even really want to answer this question, you know, but I would do it, like, if we're trying to, like, develop a good camaraderie, I don't mind answering that to help build a good camaraderie. But before we jump into that, we first need to deal with the issues that we've had in the past. Because I'm tired of doing this shit. I've done it too many times. I don't deal with the things that have happened in the past, and bad shit continues to happen. So I'm not going to continue operating like that. When there's an issue with somebody, we need to deal with it. And if you don't want to deal with it, then it's probably good for us not to try to fucking work on shit. Because in my experience, things do not work out with people that choose not to want to deal with their problems. So I'm the type of person that I want to deal with my problems. I don't want to wait. The sooner I jump on them, the better. So that's just where I'm at. And if you're not at here, if you're not in a similar state, that's okay. But you know, it's probably good for us to have some space. So anyways, back to Captain Bread, man. He sent me like I said, so we're now in this exchange to where he's asking me about George Washington, but I'm now wanting to deal with the beef that goes back to this West Point comment that he left, and then he just responded, or not just, but 16 hours ago he finally responded, because I asked him, I was like, dude, we still got beef we haven't, you know, dealt with regarding this weird comment that you left. And he sent me back saying that he thinks that I mistook his comment for him showing interest. And I'm like, well, okay, man, like, I don't see how that's interest, though. Like, the word choice that you use and the tone that you shared with me, I don't see how that's expressing interest in what? Like, you were telling me your word choice was to, like, try to get me to be afraid about my dad's West Point buddies. Like, that's not... I think he was just saying that to try to, like, mask over, you know, him fucking pretty much just sending me, like, a paint, like something trying to hurt me. Like, I think he sent messages trying to hurt my ass, and because I'm kind of calling him out on it, he's now not wanting to take accountability for it, and he's trying to like come up, it kind of seems like trying to come up with an excuse, dude. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but that's what it looks like to me. And so yeah, he sent something back saying like, yeah, man, you mistook it for me just trying to show interest. And I was like, I don't really believe that, man, but if you can make me see how you were, then I'm down to believe that. But then, you know, then he had to add on like something. Then he told me like stop trying to be a soldier, and that got me too. And like this is why I don't think it's gonna work. Like, first of all, I've always wanted to be a soldier. Like the reason why I chose not to join the United States military is because I don't believe in what America's turned into. Like I don't think what we've turned into is good. I've never felt that, even before I knew about all the corruption and the intricacies of what's going on. It did not feel right. Like all the toxicity, all the plastic, all the cancer, all the sickness, all the lies, all the corruption, all the greed, that did not feel like something good to fight for. Now, if ever the country got invaded or something like that, I would always do what I can to defend those that need help defending. But as far as me like putting my life on the line to go out and like train and to be a soldier, and then even more than that was I was afraid that I would be put in a position where I would have to do an order that I didn't agree with. And then I'd be in and then it's like I gotta sit here with a gun, like, do I do this mission that I feel in my heart's not right? Like, I'm glad I didn't, because I think that's a reason why a lot of veterans are hurting right now, is because they went over there and they did shit that didn't feel right, and now they're having to deal with the bad juju that comes from that bad area, that bad situation. So it hurts me when he says things like, stop trying to be a soldier, and it's like, dude, I think anybody can be a soldier. You don't have to have a United States America badge just to be a soldier. Anybody that wants to fight for a good purpose is a soldier. Like, there's a lot of different ways to be a soldier. Even a cook in the army is a soldier. He's doing something to help out that army. He's helping fight for a good cause. Anybody that wants to fight for a good cause or for a purpose, to me, is a soldier. So, you know, but even beyond all that, like my job choice is to be a soldier. So if the country wasn't so corrupt, I would be a soldier. So now what I'm doing is I'm literally working on a project to help get rid of that corruption so that we can go back to good soldiering for America. So I am actually being the soldier who sees that the current army has turned into something that's actually not good for the country and for the world, and it's done a lot of damage for the world. And so instead of joining that bad situation, I'm trying to redirect the energy of that army and the country into a good way so that we can now have a good army in future to work for and to fight for. And that is something that I would totally put my life on the line for and die for. But this thing that it's turned into, no. So, that's where I'm at, man. I'll see what his response is. Alright, peace.